Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, let's talk about AI ethics. You hear about it all the time, right? It's this world full of hype, but also a lot of fear. So, what are the real risks here? We're going to explore how AI can go wrong, but also, and this is the important part, what's being done to build a more responsible future for this incredible technology. So, let's start with a question, a big one. Can a piece of code, just an algorithm, actually be unfair? To answer that, I want to take you back in time to a story that honestly sounds kind of unbelievable today. This was when algorithms were just starting to make these life-altering decisions. And no, this isn't some sci-fi movie. This actually happened. We're talking about St. George's Hospital Medical School in London back in the 80s. They brought in this shiny new computer system to make admissions easier. The problem? Instead of being objective, this algorithm basically just copied the old human biases. It looked at all the past admissions data and, well, it learned that the school had a history of preferring certain people. So it just automated that prejudice, systematically rejecting qualified women and candidates from minority backgrounds. Wild, right? So you have to ask, how on earth does something like that happen? And more importantly, what does it tell us about the AI we're all using today? See, the problem wasn't some evil rogue computer, not at all. It was just a mirror, a flawed reflection of the people who made it. And that right there is the ghost in the machine. It's what we call algorithmic bias. Okay, so what is algorithmic bias really? It's not just a glitch or a random mistake. Think of it more like a thumb on the scale. It's a systematic problem where a computer program consistently spits out unfair results. And why? Well, it's usually because it was fed biased data to begin with, or maybe it was just built with some really flawed logic. To really get how this bias sneaks in, you gotta understand how AI learns in the first place. At its most basic level, AI is just a pattern-finding machine. That's its superpower. You can feed it, say, 1,000,000 pictures of fruit, and it'll get really, really good at spatting the patterns that make an apple and a banana a banana. It learns to group similar things, and it's amazing at that one job. Right. But what happens when we stop feeding it pictures of fruit, and instead we give it data about people? Things like loan applications, resumes, or court records. Well, the AI does the exact same thing. It looks for patterns. And if that data is soaked in decades of our own societal biases, the AI doesn't just learn those biased patterns. It supercharges them. It automates them. And that creates this really dangerous feedback loop. And this is what makes it so sneaky, so insidious. The political philosopher Michael Sandel put it perfectly. He said AI doesn't just copy our biases, it confers on them a kind of scientific credibility. Think about that. Suddenly, a gut feeling or an old prejudice is laundered through an algorithm and comes out the other side looking like cold, hard, objective fact. That's a huge problem. So, you see, this is way more than just a tech glitch. It's a massive societal challenge. That medical school algorithm back in the 80s, that was like the canary in the coal mine, an early warning. Today, the stakes are just infinitely higher. I mean, think about it. AI isn't some niche thing anymore. It's everywhere. It's woven into the very fabric of our lives. These algorithms are making calls on who gets a mortgage, who gets an interview for their dream job, even influencing prison sentences. We're not talking about some far-off hypothetical risk. This is happening right now, affecting real people and their fundamental rights. Just look at this breakdown. We're talking about core human rights. You've got an algorithm in a courtroom that might be reinforcing old prejudices, which is a direct threat to a fair trial. Or think about your social media feed. That's curated by an AI that can easily trap you in a filter bubble, which messes with your freedom of expression. In every single one of these cases, it's a piece of technology meddling with the very pillars of a fair and free society. And it's not just about individual rights. The economic side of this is staggering. 300 million. That's the number of jobs experts think could be disrupted or even eliminated by AI automation in the near future. And let's be clear, this isn't just about jobs vanishing. It's about the very real possibility that economic inequality could explode if all the benefits of AI end up in the hands of just a few. Okay, so with stakes this high, you're probably thinking, what are we supposed to do about all this? It's a fair question. How are we trying to steer this massive ship in the right direction? Well, the good news is people are working on it. A huge global conversation about how to build AI responsibly is happening right now. And the central idea here is a really fundamental shift in how we think. This isn't about just patching up some bad code. It's much bigger than that. It's about creating a whole new ethical playbook for tech, a framework where human well-being isn't an afterthought, but the absolute #1 priority. And you know what's cool? As everyone from the big tech giants to global organizations like UNESCO have weighed in, some core principles keep popping up again and again. It all boils down to this: respect people. Respect their dignity, their privacy, their right to be treated fairly, and at the same time demand that these AI systems are transparent, that we can understand how they work, and that, crucially, someone is always accountable when things go wrong. Of course, principles are great, but they're just words on a page if you don't put them into practice. So now, companies are starting to build actual playbooks for this stuff. That means having someone in charge of ethics, sure, but it also means getting everyone on board, from the engineers to the lawyers. But you know what the most important step is? Actually talking to people outside the company, especially the communities that could be hurt the most if the AI gets it wrong.
But look, letting companies police themselves is only part of the solution. We all know that voluntary rules aren't always enough. And that's exactly why governments are now stepping into the ring, trying to create some actual binding rules of the road for AI.
And a big reason for this push is, well, us, the public. People are getting worried. Just look at these numbers from a 2023 survey. Over half of Americans, 52%, said they were more concerned than excited about AI. And only 10% were more excited. When you have that kind of public concern, politicians start to pay attention. It puts real pressure on them to do something. Probably the biggest move we've seen yet is the European Union's AI Act. It's a huge deal, the world's first major comprehensive law for AI, and they're using a really smart risk-based system. So things that are an unacceptable risk, like a government social credit score system, are just banned, gone. Then you have high-risk stuff like AI in hiring or policing. That's not banned, but it has to meet super strict rules for safety and transparency. The whole idea is to focus the regulation where the danger is highest, so you don't accidentally kill innovation in areas where the risk is low, like, video games or spam filters. So when you step back and look at everything, the company rule books, the new government laws, you start to see that they're all pointing in the same direction. They're all circling around one big idea: a new philosophy for how we as humans are going to live alongside these incredibly powerful machines. And I think one of the best ways to frame this comes from the world of education. They have this model: human, then AI, then human again. You start with human curiosity, you use AI as a tool to explore, and you end with human insight and empowerment. See? The goal is never for the AI to be in charge. It's supposed to be a tool, something that makes us better, that augments our own abilities, not something that replaces our judgment. And we have to remember why that human element is so, so important. Researchers have this great phrase for it. They say, AI lacks a life world. It has no biography. It's never been a kid, it's never felt joy or heartbreak, it doesn't have a body or a sense of place. It can crunch numbers like nothing else, but it has zero common sense, zero lived experience. It can process data, but it can't exercise real human judgment. And that brings us right back to the beginning, to the most important point of all. This whole conversation about AI ethics, it's not really about the machines. It's about us. AI is a mirror. It just learns from the data we give it, reflecting our society right back at us, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So the real challenge isn't just about building better AI. It's about building a better, fairer world for that AI to learn from. The question is, what are we going to choose to show it?